Uh-oh, am I about to have a bad time? Hey, hi there, how's it going? My name is STIRRUPLEATHER, and a game called Deltarune was recently released as a follow-up to the indie smash hit Undertale, a game which I never played. But I saw other people play it, and I didn't really like it. But how does the not sequel, I'll talk about that later, fare? Well, let's find out.
So let's start with the license agreement? You will accept everything that happens from now on?
Oh no!
Well, guess I'll sign away my soul to Toby Fox. What could possibly go wrong? Are you there? Yeah, I haven't left yet. Are we connected? I mean, I don't know, man. What's your Facebook? I mean, I'm happy to add you. At this point, we're told we need a vessel for this world, so we do some very basic character creation. I mean, what's the difference between these legs? We also get to input some personality traits based on our own. Well, I guess you all know I like sour food now. After that, we're asked how we feel about our creation. Well, even though I didn't like Undertale, I'm still hopeful. I acknowledge the possibility of pain and seizure. Wait, what is this? The actual license agreement? Name? Didn't really have a plan for this. We called it dead. Well, did you at least check for a pulse? Thank you for your time. Your answers. Your wonderful creation will now be discarded.
Well, this game's already more gripping and funnier than Hilda ever was.
No one can choose who they are in this world. Your name is Chris. At least it's the cool spelling.
Chris, if you do not wake up, we will be late for school.
Oh, come on. It's a beautiful day outside. On days like these, kids like me should be. So this is more or less where the game actually begins. We can control Chris with the arrow keys, investigate stuff with C, and sprint with X. And there is no shortage of stuff to investigate. Yeah, this is basically what I do when I'm late for school as well. So the story continues with your goat mom driving you to school. Judging by the horns, I think we can assume this game takes place in Hoenn. So after arriving late, we're told that our class is doing group projects and we need to find a partner. Thus, we are introduced to our classmates. First, there's Temmie, the lol XD so random dog cat, who you might know from this Undertale animation. There's Monster Kid from Undertale, I think. Snowy, a wannabe comedian. A total prick named Birdly, who is based on Sonic? Noelle, the girl next door trope incarnate. Caddy, a fat cat who I presume hates Mondays. And Joggington, Snake Jock? Wait, is that because Jock rhymes with sock? But as you can see, they all have partners. So who are we to partner with? Well, Noelle offers to ask if we can join her group, but Birdly snuffs her out. Suddenly... Am I late? Enter Susie the delinquent. She frightens everyone, from the other students to the teachers. Obviously, we're assigned to be partners. So the lesson is about to begin, but the teacher can't find any chalk. So she sends Susie and us to get some chalk. I mean, she could have just asked us to take notes on our own, but hey, whatever moves the plot forward. So we go out in the hall and see Susie.
You wanna buy some death sticks?
You didn't see anything just now, did you? You can't even say? Chris. Hey. Well, hey there, baby.
Let me tell you a secret. Quiet people piss me off. You think just because you don't say anything, I can't tell exactly what you're thinking? It's over. I caught Susie eating all the chalk. This was her last chance. Now she'll finally be expelled. Come on, Chris. Don't act shocked. You know it's true. Everyone's waiting for it. Everyone wants it. So congrats, Chris. You got me. I'm done for. Just let me say one little thing. Seems like a waste to get expelled just for having a snack. So Chris, if I know you're gonna pull the trigger, why don't I get expelled for some real carnage? Chris, how do you feel about losing your face? Nah.
Well, Susie just cemented herself as my favorite character.
So after Susie literally threatens to maim us, we head to the supply closet to get some more chalk, only to discover that the closet seems kinda dark and spooky, and upon going in, we can't even find a light switch.
It's kinda big for a closet, huh? You'd think we'd have reached the end by now. Hey, Chris. I think this closet's, broken. There aren't any walls. Well, we've worked hard enough. If Alphys wants the chalk so bad she can get it herself, let's split. What the? Hey, this isn't funny. Let us out. The floor, it's...
Hey, we got a graphical upgrade. So at this point, Chris wakes up in strange RPG attire and begins exploring until he reunites with Susie, also in a badass new outfit. They then continue forward together, kinda, until they're attacked by a strange figure using spade-shaped boards. After escaping down a waterfall, the two come across a castle with a mysterious figure claiming to be the prince of this kingdom, who tells them a legend. Once upon a time, a legend was whispered among shadows. It was a legend of dreams. It was a legend of dark. This is the legend of Deltarune. For millennia, light and dark have lived in balance, bringing peace to the world. But if this harmony were to shatter, a terrible calamity would occur. The sky shall run black with terror, and the land will crack with fear. Then, her heart pounding, the earth will draw her final breath. Only then, shining with hope, three heroes appear at the world's edge. A human, a monster, and a prince from the dark. Only they can seal the fountains and banish the angels' heaven. Only then will balance be restored and the world saved from destruction. Today, the Fountain of Darkness, the geyser that gives this land form, stands tall at the center of the kingdom. But recently, another fountain has appeared on the horizon. And with it, the balance of light and dark begins to shift.
Chris, Susie, thank you for listening to my long tale. I deeply believe that you two are the heroes of the legend, that despite whatever enemies you may face, you two have the courage to save the world. Delta Warriors, please, won't you accept your destiny? Nah. So obviously Susie's having none of this legend hocus pocus and doesn't really care about the end of the world. She's about to ditch us and find her own way out when suddenly...
The heroes are already running away, and they didn't even know I was here. My dad's gonna make me son of the month.
This is Lancer, the guy who attacked us before. He claims he's the bad guy and that he won't let us seal the Dark Fountain. He also points out that the only way to get back is to the east, so Susie will be going that way anyway. We then get into a brief skirmish with Lancer before he retreats. The mysterious prince from earlier introduces himself as Rouse, a prince with no subjects. Susie leaves on her own, and we leave with Rouse, and boom, we've got a solid RPG plot. After saving through the power of Fluffy Boys, we're then thrown into a pretty cute battle tutorial, and this is where the game really opens up. So let's talk about the gameplay. Like Undertale, the combat is based around dodging in a main bullet hell sequence. However, if you're close enough to a bullet, you'll graze it and earn tension points, which fill this meter. You can also fill it by having a character defend on their turn, which will slightly reduce the damage from the next attack. TP can be used for various things, from spells that can be used by Rouse to certain acts later in the game. Which brings us to the most important aspect of combat, which is how we can defeat opponents. Like Undertale, we have two ways of dispatching our foes, fighting and acting. Unlike Undertale, however, which we choose is actually our choice. That's right, there are no negative repercussions to fighting, though the game does strongly urge us to go pacifist. There are a couple of dialogue changes, but not much else. I played this pacifist, but even doing so, they backtrack pretty hard on some of the preachiness of the previous game.
You have no idea how big an improvement combat is in this game. It's rewarding, satisfying, funny, and it's much more visually appealing now as well.
This is also where they set up the structure of the game. As you saw, they mentioned several times that everyone's heading east. This is to signal to the player that we'll always be going left to right in classic video game fashion. It's subtle, but pretty cool. There are a couple caveats I must make in terms of gameplay though, namely difficulty. There's only one boss in the game that has any kind of challenge, more on that later, but this game is pathetically easy. I didn't die once to any of the normal enemies or bosses, which is kind of a shame, as I feel this is probably a lot of people's introduction to bullet hell. Anyway, back to the story. We go through the gates and our adventure truly begins. The first area is the Field of Hopes and Dreams. Here we fight basic enemies and more or less learn that Lancer is a total goofball. This totally not Italian chef also informs us that Susie broke his cake and we can take this broken cake into our key items for some reason. We also see that Susie is thrashing anyone that comes her way, distressing Rouse the pacifist. After some minor encounters with Lancer, we reconvene with Susie and Rouse informs her that if she wants to get home, she'll have to stick with us.
Let's just get this over with. Yahoo! Susie's back in the team. Cue the fanfare.
Regardless, Susie joins the team and the power of Mean Girls shines within us. But here, the game does decide to throw in a cool mechanic if you're playing pacifist. Susie is a loose cannon who you can't control and she will always attack. If you want to stay pacifist, you have to warn enemies that Susie will attack them so they won't get hurt. It's a pretty basic mechanic in practice, but it's a cool little monkey wrench to throw in. Anyway, Susie then threatens to bite off Lancer's base, who takes the whole thing very nonchalantly, and uses it as an opportunity to improve his evil act.
It should be simple, Chris. Move the boxes onto the spaces with Z. Wait, who the hell's Z?
So after an encounter with a giant checker, Rousey confronts Susie about her behavior, and she decides to change her ways by becoming one of the bad guys.
Well, if it isn't the so-called heroes, are you finally ready to see what happens when you try to act soft against a team that crushes anyone in their way? Dirt Jack Lancer, Violent Axe Susie.
So now Susie and Lancer team up to try to stop us with their diabolical scheme of coming up with a plan at the last minute. As we continue through the forest, we see Susie and Lancer enjoying salsa from a tree stump, stumped on puzzles, and even working at a bake sale. Trust me, there is nothing more nefarious than a bake sale. You know that money's going to illicit causes. We also meet a master smith who can fix anything. If we give him the broken cake we got earlier, he'll repair it into the top cake. He can even fix us, restoring our HP. Eventually, Lancer and Susie trick us into designing a war machine that will kick our own asses. But upon encountering the machine, they blow it up just to insult us. We then have a high-stakes fight. If we win, Susie will join us again. But if we lose, we have to be the bad guys as well. One pathetic boss battle later, and Susie is back on our team. But obviously she's befriended Lancer, who seems upset at the prospect of being enemies again. So she proclaims that he can join us as well, and we see his disturbing, beautiful Squidward face. However, Lancer seems to be bothered by something as he slides along with us, and it gets to the point where he breaks off from us just as we're approaching the Spade Castle. Susie runs after him and Rouse after her. Can you guess what happens next? Yep, we're spotted by the guards and captured. So when we wake up, we're in prison and told that we'll be imprisoned here for life. After exploring around, we find some fashionable chains, some less than delicious moss, and no miraculous escape exits. However, it does appear Susie was able to escape herself. After helping Susie with a puzzle, she comes to get us, and we telepathically communicate with her? I don't know. Point is, she runs into Lancer, and after finding out about his involvement in our capture, she begins to fight him. However, Lancer isn't fighting back because he doesn't want us to fight his dad. Eventually, Susie is unable to kill Lancer, but promises that we'll beat his dad in a peaceful way. So after we reconvene with Susie, we get a hero's journey scene in an elevator where the team comes together for real. It's very well written and probably one of the highlights of the game.
So we're off to fight the king, but first, we can fight a secret boss. And I put secret in massive air quotations just because of how easy it is to find this guy.
Just go back to the elevator, click the question marks, and boom, you can talk to some mysterious entity in the basement. However, the door's locked, so we need a key. But it's no big deal. We can just backtrack to this shopkeeper who gives us a piece, feel the power of Mean Girls again, and then get the other piece that I forgot on my way here. Get the key fixed, and then we're free to fight Jevil. Get it? Like Joker plus Devil? Anyway, Jevil is the one real challenge in the game, and it took me several hours to beat him. He's cute, cool, and has a kick-ass theme song that really gives off Toho vibes, and it was extremely satisfying to finally beat him. That being said though, this is still baby's first bullet hell. But anyway, after that, now it's time to face the king.
Alright, enough already. Just who the hell do you think you are?
To my people, I'm a hero. To you, I'm the bad guy. And also apparently just a giant Gurren Lagann reference. The king goes down easy, Susie pacifies him, and we proceed to the Fountain of Darkness. Upon stepping into the fountain though, Rouse reveals his true face. That is the face of someone who just realized they've been hanging out with someone in blackface. Anyway, we then wake up at school, and Susie departs us saying that we should come back here tomorrow. Now we're in what I would call the blatant fanservice / fan theory section of the game, which shows that this is probably a prequel to Undertale. I don't really care about this game's connection to Undertale, and I hope the final game isn't weighed down by all this lore and shit. Just stick to the main story of the game. That was really well done, I thought. But anyway, after we get back home and go to bed, yeah!
When the light is running low and the shadows start to grow and the places that you know seem like fantasy, to see.
I think this song is a little inappropriate.
So that was Deltarune. What did I think of it? Well, I thought it was a well-written and funny RPG with very appealing characters and a good story. And I'm super curious what Chapter 2 will have in store. Especially since we now appear to be a soulless husk brandishing a knife.
But yeah, Toby Fox basically said not to hold our breaths for the full game and not to worry about its connection to Undertale. But regardless, Deltarune is one of those rare times when a sequel is able to be better than the first, which is even rare in indie games I've found. It addresses all of my issues with Undertale to at least some capacity, and in particular it backtracks on the preachiness a fair bit. Also, the humor, music, and writing were all better than the new Pokemon game. How's that for amazing? If you're looking for a good PC RPG, check it out.
中止だって電源プラグ引き抜いてバチるほど単純じゃないさこの逆との証明は誰もできないんだ見れないいつも